I guess
don't let the suit throw you, because I'm still me.
Okay, so
this is going to be entertaining.
let's just get started. So,
Okay.
what are you doing now?
Sitting here talking to you.
What are you doing professionally?
Oh, gotcha.
Because last I talked to you, you were doing like training in schools and teaching
so,
people how to build guns.
Gosh, it's been, how long has it been?
It's been at least a year.
Oh, okay. So it's still the same thing. So I'm one of the owners at MGS Trade School. It's mgs.edu. You can go there and request more info. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Which camera is it?
This is
okay. Go there and request more info. mgs.edu. It's a gunsmithing school. And so what we do is we give people the concepts, the hands-on training. A lot of people think, wait, it's distance learning. How do you get the hands-on training? And we send out everything from refinishing an M1 Garand stock to soldering two pieces of metal together to building your old hand tools. All those things you have to learn with our program. I've got that going. Also have I'm partners in a company called Frytech, and they reduce recoil using magnetic technology.
Magnets to reduce recoil.
Yeah, instead of springs. Yep.
Instead of springs.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It
and
reduces
like
recoil.
ARs or like handguns.
Anything.
Really?
Our utility patent covers using magnets to reduce recoil in any firearm. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got your hands in a few different pots.
Yeah, and that's new. That's something that is just now getting off the ground. But MGS is my main gig. That's my baby. That's my bread and butter.
And but you did stuff with a previous company that everybody just jumped on. About 6 months ago, people like the internet tore it apart.
Yes,
and I wondered, because MGS isn't like the name,
right?
And that's not to be offensive. That's just if you
he
think
said
of these,
we're not anything.
Okay. When I think the thing that happens in the gun space is so particular.
It is.
So if you get too much push, too much social media push, too much. Marketing and production, people get upset and they're like, it's not real.
Right.
And then they start looking closely and they say, hey, don't waste your GI Bill on this.
They put a microscope on you.
Yeah.
Ours, I never bash, even though I used to work for that company, I never bash competition at all.
It's not good to do that.
They have their niche. They have their little niche, and they do it their way. We do it a little bit different. We have more hands-on projects. It's straight gunsmithing. So you don't have to take any gen eds. If you wanted associates and you want to get that degree, they're great for that. But with us, it is a certificate program. As soon as you start, you're doing gunsmithing. The first thing you get is a beat-up M1 Garand stock, and you got to refinish it. And you send it back into us, and we grade it and everything like that. And then you go through the course. You learn the ins and outs of every firearm around. We have schematics that you get to keep and everything afterwards. So it really is. I'm not just saying this because I'm part of the owner. Now I sound like the hair club for men. I'm not just the president. I'm also a member, which I probably need that. I'm thinning a little bit on top.
I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. That and the gray that's coming in my beard.
I feel like it gives you some class. You know?
Does it? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just one guy.
Now this is my favorite podcast. But yeah, it is a really good program. I've done a lot of stuff in the industry. I started off doing this. You know, a lot of people don't know I was one of the people that started Talking Lead. Me and Marty started.
Yeah, which is a great podcast.
Yeah, and it's been around since 2012 now. And then I had a TV show on Discovery Channel. Then I had a radio show in Nashville.
I saw some of your old Discovery Channel stuff back when you were a little bit, we'll say thicker.
I like that. I was thicker.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly plump.
More to love, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was 315 pounds when we filmed that show. It was,
you're a tall guy, so it doesn't look insane.
And that's what good friends always tell me.
Yeah.
They're like, you hit it well. And I'm like, no, dude, I was not healthy.
Well, but that's another thing, right? Is the gun space has a lot of guys, Americans.
Yeah.
And Americans have weird habits. Americans like the recliners. I just bought a couch. And it seems like everyone they try to sell you, and you can lean all the way back, and if you want to watch TV, it tilts your head up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is so American. What's wrong with us?
And then you go to McDonald's and you get like 12 pounds of fries with your quarter pounder.
And this one holds your dipping sauce.
Yes.
And if you drop the dipping sauce, we have a plan, so we'll replace it. So don't be afraid to stain your couch.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to commentary on the state of American health.
Yes, he is.
I am. But I mean, and I need to do better.
I mean,
myself.
we got to face it. I love America more than any country in the whole wide world. It is, to me, the greatest country. And if people go to other countries, third world countries, they'll realize it too, even if they're anti-America now,
Yeah.
But we do have a problem. We have a sedentary problem. We have a food problem. We have an eating problem. It is one of those things where you go to another country and your portions are tiny.
Yeah.
And if you're American, you're kind of like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Where's my food? This is ridiculous.
The plates are smaller. The portions are smaller.
But
in some ways, I hear it's more filling because they're using different ingredients.
It could be, yeah. But you come to America and it's the gluttony thing. You're like, oh, I want this. I want more of it. I want more of this. And we can get it. It's easy to get it.
Yeah. It's only $1 more to double.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, you're 315 pounds and you're not healthy and your heart is going, whoa, I can't handle this.
Yeah, I can't keep up.
So.
And the reason I brought that up is there's a lot of guys online who are like, hey, man, you need to, it's okay to have all the sickest kit, have plates and hard armor and soft armor and helmets and, all that. But if you can't run 100 yards without dying, it's a problem. And I'm probably right there right now because my cardio's bad. But.
I took a course. Well, it wasn't really an official course, but Rob Pincus came to Nashville when we were still rocking Talking Lead. I mean, Marty still does that. I left Talking Lead back in 2014. But, sold in my half. But Rob came to town and we did a video with him, and I was struggling to do some of the physical stuff. And it stuck with me my entire life. He goes, how the hell do you expect to defend your family when you can't even get off the couch to go get a Coke out of the fridge without sucking wind? And I'm like, oh. And it changed my mindset. And I started getting in better shape and doing a lot more stuff, physical fitness, eating right, and making fitness a part of my firearms training as well. A lot of people, they're like, I got a gun, I'm good. Well, if the gun's in your drawer halfway across the house and you got to get up and run, can you do that at full sprint, get it, and still be able to do reloads, whatever you got to do, find cover versus concealment, all that stuff, Yeah,
because, if your body's struggling to be alive at that point, then how is your brain going to kind of keep up?
Exactly.
So, that's a great point. So I guess that's an encouragement for all of us to maybe take the stairs versus the elevator.
Yeah, take it from the former fat guy. Okay, I still have a little bit of fat, but
we're all working. We're all working a little bit.
We're all a work in progress.
No, but this is good, and I hope that you'll come back and we can do something maybe in person again, or if we have to do something remote, we can do that too. And
absolutely, man.
Talk a little bit more about your time with Talking Lead and what's that? What's it like to sell your part of a baby that you brought into the world?
It was a weird experience, but it was a good situation, right?
Yeah.
I parlayed. One of our sponsors was that other school that I went to be an executive for. But I parlayed it into a job in the industry. I worked in the medical field before that.
I'm big into parlay. I met Amanda. That parlayed into this moment right here.
Exactly.
I met you a year ago, parlayed into this conversation.
Exactly. We've had conversations on the phone about this.
Right.
And
parlay those tough conversations into something better.
It's all relationships. And what we built with Talking Lead was so much fun. Still is. I still go on the show, maybe once every year, once every couple of years.
That's good.
And we did it in the Wild West version of podcast and YouTube, right? Yeah. Within 6 months, we were the largest gun podcast in the world. There's been lots that have surpassed it since, but we were in 117 countries.
That's international. He jokes, and he's like, international superstar Armed Atlas, because that's the GunTube channel stuff, right?
Yeah.
He jokes.
Yeah.
But it's true. The reach can be international. And if
absolutely.
you could have a real user base of actual listeners, and Talking Lead's probably one of the biggest out there still.
Yeah. It was one of those things where we started getting emails from people from Canada, and we're like, oh, neat. And then Europe, and then Russia, and then China, and I'm like going, what is happening? Is this people like military guys stationed somewhere else listening? No, it was like people picking up our podcast, learning about guns through us, because our whole shtick in the beginning, Marty knew more about guns than I did. I grew up in Texas and Tennessee, so they hand you a rifle when you come out of the womb.
Right.
But I knew about guns, but I wasn't a gun guy. And our shtick was like, hey, we're two gun guys that are kind of dumb gun guys listen to us as we learn.
Right.
Listen, watch us grow.
Go along the journey.
And I think people liked it. I think it was something that they could like relate to.
Yeah.
You know, they like guns, they're into guns, they want to learn more. So we'd have experts come on. We had, you know, Jaeger come on, Pincus, different manufacturers, designers, engineers. We had anybody that would talk to us.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if they wanted to talk about guns and they were pro gun, come on. So it was a really, really fun experience doing that. And I've been in the industry ever since.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sounds like it changed your life a little bit.
It really did. It really did. And it all came because at the time I was listening to several podcasts and there was only a couple of them that were really entertaining.
Yeah.
The rest of them were kind of like, okay, here's the new Glock 19 and it's chambered in 9mm and it does this. And you learned from it, but it didn't entertain me. You know,
it's got to do both.
Yeah, I want to be entertained when I watch or listen to something. It doesn't have to be all jokes and laughter, but you know, like the conversation we're having. I've thrown a couple jokes, you've thrown a couple jokes, but it's not a comedy podcast.
Right.
But I would hope that people hear it and they're like, "Hey, I was pretty entertained by that."
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Because that's how you hook people in. Then you can get your message across. You know, Second Amendment. You know, or whatever your message is, you know, you can get it across if you're entertaining people first. Because unfortunately, one of the downfalls of humanity is we are a species that wants to be entertained. You know, go back to the Romans, the gladiators.
I mean, how do you get in a whole arena and say like, hey, throw people in it and give me like lions?
Right.
And actually, like at this point, throw some water in there too. You know, like what?
You know, some people will go down that road, the conspiracy theory road, and there's probably some truth to it. Well, TV and sports and everything, that's just to keep you under control. Because if you're entertained, then you'll do what we tell you to. Which there's some truth to that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I want to see something funny every now and
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, let's continue on a show where we can spend like an hour and a half and maybe we'll do a live stream and take questions. Yeah. But if you guys want that, you have to let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
And or send me an email, info@gunclubradio.com. Would love to talk to you.
And mgs.edu if you want to become a gunsmith.
All right. Zach.
Yeah. He just called me Zach. He just called me. I'm glad everybody's called me Zach my whole life because I answer to it.
Jeez. Zeke. It's a way cooler name. Zach's or Diamond doesn't. Have you met another Zeke in your life?
Yeah. I actually met Isaiah Thomas once, who's a Zeke. I was disappointed because Ezekiel Elliott for the Dallas Cowboys, then the Patriots, now he's back at the Cowboys. People would come up to me and were like, I'm glad you're happy. I bet you're happy that Ezekiel Elliott came around. I'm like, he's 20 years younger than me. I mean, come on.
That's not your peer. Yeah.
But yeah, I hated my name growing up.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, I was like, I got a pretty cool name.
It's very classic.
Yeah, Zeke Stout.
Yeah.
You know, it fits.
Yeah. Dude,
I appreciate it, man.
This is
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And cut.